geek news from across the Nostalgiaverse. They are Jacob's Toys and SuperSorrell. So strap yourselves in for the weekly live show that brings you toy news, TV and movie reviews, special guests, opinions, tangents, and bad impressions. Reveals, releases, thoughts, and maybe dreams. So prepare yourselves for the Geek Week in Review. Live.
Hello! Hello, welcome to the Geek Week, episode 162 with me, Jacob's Toys, and of course, the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell. I'm going to address two things before we get into any more. One, yes, I am sat in a car. It's not because my wife's kicked me out or anything like that, but I am currently away on holiday, but could not miss tonight's show because, of course, it's San Diego Comic-Con 2024. So we're going to talk about everything that's going on. The other thing is, yes, our intro music is slightly different. It's changed a little bit. And I'm just going to be totally honest. The geezer that put the intro together for us before, we really liked it. We paid for the music, all that kind of stuff. And now he's started to decide to kind of try to cash in a little bit and put strikes out and stuff like that. So, sod you, we'll change the music, right? So we're working on it. We'll get there. We'll change it around.
Do you know what I'm loving at more than anything? I'm loving the fact that you're in a car and that within the next 25 minutes it's going to be total darkness and you're just going to be in pitch black in this car. It should be a voice.
I know. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. But we'll play around. We'll play around. This, of course, is the Geek Week. If you're new to the show, thank you very much for tuning in. Do join in with the comments as we discuss things in the show. We go out across a bunch of different platforms, so not all the comments will show up on the platform that you're on, but we'll do our best to put them up on screen and kind of keep the conversation moving. If you're watching us on repeat, then we know a lot of you do. What is it that I need to put in the chat, Mr. Sorrell?
Hashtag catch-up crew.
Catch up crew. There we go. A couple of shout outs quickly, and I'm going to see if I can do this without knocking all my phone. And there we go. It's gone. No. There we go. So we've got Andy Roberts in the chat. We can see there Ezra Gantos, Todd World, Sean the Sheep, Luna, Timmy. He's there as well. Andy Roberts, Shelley's in there. Bethany Beth, John Hood's there as well. Oh, John Hood. Very quickly, let's put this up. Deadpool and Wolverine has pulled me back into collecting Marvel Legends. John, we will get into that a little bit later. So yeah, how's your week been though? So all right?
Good, mate. Really good. Deadpool has taken the majority of my week up, but I tell you what, I was loving the fact that Shelley, who's in the chats, this is amazing because she's there, was commenting on my videos as she always does, and she said that she couldn't wait to hear what me and JT thought of the movie. And when she said JT, I was like, he's gonna love that nickname. That is officially his new nickname, JT.
I'll keep that. That's pretty cool. I'll go for JT. That's all right.
And especially after Deadpool, ain't no lie, baby, bye, bye, bye.
I know, right? One thing, we did have a stream planned for Thursday night. We were going to do a live stream and just kind of put all of our thoughts out on what Deadpool and Wolverine was all about. We are not going to talk about the movie in too much detail on this stream. We're not going to talk spoilers or anything like that. But we just thought, because the movie is the kind of magnitude that it is, and because of there's so much going on in it, that we thought we'd give it a week, and then we'll have a kind of a, where does the MCU stand? What does this mean for X, Y, and Z? And we'll do like a proper theories. And then it'll also give everybody here a chance to watch it, because I went and saw it on midnight showing, and you saw it in the morning, didn't you? So we literally saw it straight away.
I love the fact that, because I got a message from Jacob saying, dude, you don't feel right going full spoilers. People are kind of trying to keep it secret and stuff like that. You said that, and then literally about 10 minutes after that, I saw a post went up from, who was it? We had posts from, what's he called? Jay and Silent Bob. Them two.
Oh,
they did a video. Kevin did a video. Then the people at Marvel made a video themselves discussing Easter eggs from the movie. And
I know.
It was just one after another. I'm like, dude.
I know. So many people have done videos. But what we're going to do, we'll do something a little bit different. We're going to do a video based on kind of our thoughts and our kind of theories and where it's going to go. But to be perfectly honest with you, what an amazing film. Like it
Oh,
really
amazing.
was incredible. And I think I put on one of my Instagram posts, like the cameos were perfect. The storyline, the characters were all dealt with, they were handled really well. And I mean, we can say this because it's in the trailer, but it was fantastic to see X-23 in there and
Mhm.
kind of more canon and stuff. But yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was a fantastic film. Absolutely
I love the
fantastic
fact
film.
that every single line in the film felt like a reference or a joke or an inside joke. Everything was,
Massively.
yeah, everything was like a reference, wasn't it? Almost.
Massively. What I saw a post from Ryan Reynolds as well. I don't know if you saw this one, but he
Mm.
did a post. Do you remember back at I think it was at a Comic Con when I think it was San Diego Comic Con when they rolled all the Fox actors out
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
had like X-Men, the Fantastic Four, you had Gambit, Deadpool, like all of those kind of Fox universe characters in one big shot. And he shared that photograph and said about how this was very much um their kind of love letter to the Fox universe.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool because it's like, a lot of the speculation beforehand was, oh, Deadpool kills the Fox universe and all the rest of it, but it didn't feel like
No.
that at all. It felt very,
And
um,
this isn't a
yeah,
spoiler because there's nothing to do with the film. But at the end of the movie, they do show like a montage, don't they, of all the like the making of like from the
yes,
beginning of X-Men 1 right through
yeah,
to the final Fox
yeah,
movie. And they do
yeah,
show some behind the scenes stuff. Like it shows Ryan Reynolds when he was on the set of Wolverine Origins saying it's been a lifelong dream to play this character, and then obviously got his
yeah,
mouth
yeah,
sewn up, and yeah,
yeah.
it was very cool to see all those little snippets from the years.
No, it was very good. It was very good. I can't believe how dark I'm getting already. Like I've only been here, like already it's starting up. See if I can get a bit of light in there. Right, so let's talk. We got so much to kind of unpack, really. San Diego Comic Con,
Mm.
um, technically still going on, isn't it? There's the Sunday
Still,
stuff.
yeah, Sunday stuff still going on. We had all the movie stuff yesterday. We had
Yeah,
all the toy stuff on Friday. So we have the majority of what's been kind of announced. There's
yeah.
I'm not going to say we're going to touch on everything in this show because there's just too damn much this year. This year it felt
Nice.
like they went hard with the toys.
Yeah, there was
Every company was
lots.
there doing panels this year, which is unheard of.
There
So it
was
was
lots.
nuts.
I loved seeing Diamond Select as well. Diamond Select
Mm,
obviously are at Comic Con every year anyway. But it was really good to see their kind of booth. And I know Zach's been doing like a load of kind of online interviews and stuff. I don't know if they had a panel as such, but there was a lot of content coming out from Diamond Select with a lot of their new stuff,
yeah.
which was really cool. I saw the Mondo Ghostbusters. Did you see those?
Yeah, they look
Yeah,
cool, man. With Sam
they
Hyde as
were.
well, the big pumpkin king.
Yeah, they look really cool. Where do you want to start? Should we do toys first and then movie?
Yeah, we'll go with toys because I was going to say one of my favorite takeaways from this was that we got our first announcement from Playmates saying that Power Rangers line will launch next year in fall of 2025.
Yep.
They have announced that, as well as the people over at Jazzwares
Hmm.
announced that they will be doing Five Nights at Freddy's. They've now got the master license, and that again will
Amazing.
start appearing from fall of 2025. So next year is going to be full of like this time next year we're going to be having loads of new drops of toys
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Bethany Bev said Jacob could have used some glow in the dark face paint. Yeah, I could have. To be honest, it was a last minute decision to come and sit in the car because all my family's here and we've got like this
Yeah.
house and everything. And I was looking at what room I was going to do the podcast from, and then everyone's still kind of in holiday mode and they're up and everything. So I was like, I'm going to go and sit in the car. So unfortunately, I'm going to get slowly darker and darker as the evening goes
It's
on.
fine.
Um,
I tell you what, though, one thing that did disappoint me quite a lot was the Hasbro panels.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether we've just been spoiled because Hasbro obviously do their PulseCon. They do their own
That's the thing. They announced that,
convention.
didn't they? It's September
Uh,
13th.
yeah, and they announced that, and that PulseCon's always taken place around the September October kind of time, and because they do that, they do hold a lot back. And then they're one of the few companies that have really hit the nail on the head with the live streams because obviously
Mm.
during COVID and pandemic and everything, they kind of cornered the market, didn't they, with the live streams? and
Well,
they still do those.
yeah, normally they do the PulseCon on 10/10/10, don't they? Because
Yeah.
that's the address of the venue.
Yeah.
But they seem to have played this year because the 13th in September is Friday the 13th.
Okay.
I think I think that's a significant detail for Marvel.
Okay. Yeah, that could be. That could be. Yeah, you could be right there. You could be right.
It's also would be 6 weeks to Halloween at that point,
Yep.
and they've already given us that new Stranger Tales line. We
Mm-hmm.
already know they're making figures on that. We've not had any deluxe figures yet or anything big and bad, should we say, from that line just yet. I've got a feeling that on Friday the 13th of all days would be the perfect day to announce something for that line. Six
You
weeks
know what?
out to Halloween.
I don't think you're right. I don't think you're wrong. I really don't think you're wrong. But you're right. You know, going back to your original point, the Hasbro kind of panels were a little bit underwhelming. Only because I think there was so much going on anyway. But yeah,
it just felt like we knew half of what was being announced before it was announced. Like we said all along, come on, Wolverine and Deadpool, they're definitely gonna launch some things, and we kind of had a little preview spoiler of that early on, didn't we? But then it felt like we knew. Didn't we already know about the chair and the Kang figure? Wasn't that already kind of hinted at?
Yeah. So the Kang figure, they had. Where was that mentioned or leaked or so? No, it wasn't leaked. It was actually mentioned. Yeah. And the rock that came with the Sentinels, the kind of single pack Sentinels, that was teased at the end of one of their live streams. But obviously, people guessed very, very, very quickly what that was. Bethany Beth saying hashtag where is Jacob? I'm in the car, but if you want to know where I am geographically, I'm actually in North Wales. That's where I am. But there we go. So yeah, so they did kind of the Friday was what they call the breakfast reveals or the breakfast. Yeah, so that was kind of figures that we did already know about. But then their main panel, I don't know. Like you say, we knew that there was going to be Deadpool and Wolverine figures. We knew they were coming. They were obvious. The bit that surprised me was that it's a 3-figure wave, as opposed to their standard kind of 7-figure wave. And the third figure that they've put in there is like a civilian clothed Wolverine, which I don't really remember even seeing him. Is that supposed to be the one in the bar?
I believe so.
Because then he's also got like the blue shoes, hasn't he? Like the part of his costume. I don't know. I really don't get that one at all.
This with they did this 3-wave thing with the Fox figures, didn't they? Because they gave us Mystique, Charles Xavier, and Magneto, didn't they?
Yes.
Oh no, sorry, it was Wolverine.
No.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
Wolverine. Then it was Mystique, and there was a third one. They came in sets of 3, didn't they?
Cable,
maybe, yeah. But yeah, they came in like sets of 3.
No,
and we had a bunch of figures from Deadpool and Wolverine. Sorry, Deadpool
didn't we? You had Deadpool, Cable, and Domino.
With Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
No, that was a 2-pack.
Was that a 2-pack?
Oh no, actually, so yeah, you had a 2-pack which was Deadpool and Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Yeah.
You had single Cable, you had single Domino. And then you had a 2-pack of Charles and Magneto.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really make sense.
We got 2 Wolverines, didn't we? We had an Amazon exclusive and a regular.
That's it. Yeah, you got the Wolverines, didn't you? What I don't understand though, and I'm just thinking, I think I put this in our message, is that a film like Eternals had a 7-figure wave, had 2 store exclusives, a builder figure, and a deluxe figure.
Yeah.
Spider-Man No Way Home had a 3-pack, like a convention exclusive 3-pack, then had the single card wave of 6 figures, and we've still got 2 figures to come, and the deluxe 2 deluxe figures.
But we did wait a long time for those, to be honest.
Oh no, we did. We definitely did.
I think there'll be more. There'll be 100% more for this movie. I just think it's early doors. Like we already kind of saw Wolverine and Deadpool's costumes leaked early on, quite early on, didn't we? From like press photos and stuff. And then
Yeah.
the Colossus is kind of the Colossus from the previous Deadpool movies. So
It is, yeah.
it's not for me. I think these were just like easy wins. Like the Wolverine is basically just a civilian Wolverine. That's very easily put together. I
Yep.
think they're biding the time, and I think we will get a proper wave of what is like the spoilers of the movie. Without going into the movie, we know what we saw and who
Yeah.
could possibly be in this wave.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I am. Beth's just by Jacob. Yep, I'm slowly disappearing. I'm gonna see if look. I'm here. Look, you can still see me.
But I
Like,
mean,
if I
even if they gave
turn
us,
around.
I forgot her name, Cassandra Nova, I think she definitely is going to get a figure. She was very good in that movie, by the way.
Well, yeah, she was
She needs a
fantastic.
figure.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think that and the reason I reference those other two films is I just think that there is definitely, with this particular film, there is definitely scope for a lot more figures. And yeah, it's just a matter of time. I think it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna turn my camera off because you can't even see me. So it's just I'm gonna go cameraless. There you go.
Oh dear. But yeah, I mean, it's I can't. We can't even really talk because like, we're not going spoilers on Deadpool, so it's hard to discuss what could be coming. But there are some cool ideas that are going to be coming out, I think.
There are a lot of, well, even just if we base it off the trailer, there was Lady Deadpool in the trailer.
So yeah, based off the trailer, I mean, we've got Lady Deadpool, we've got Cassandra Nova, Sabretooth we knew about, Toad we know about,
X-23. You've got Pyro.
They're definitely getting figures. Pyro.
Yeah. But then obviously there are a lot of other figures. Like you saw behind Lady Deadpool, you saw there was a lot of Deadpool variants. Like there are so many Deadpool variants that, you know.
They could easily put like 3. I think they'll put like if they're gonna go down that road of giving us some of those characters, I think they'll go down the road of 3 packs. Like the team
I hope so.
packs. Because like they could very easily, because like some of them are quite small, should we say? So they could easily pop some of those in a pack, couldn't they? Quite easily and release it that way.
Without giving too many spoilers away again, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying not to say names. You see, I'm trying not to give names away.
The Hot Toys. If anybody wants kind of to to go in a direction, Hot Toys has done something already that Hasbro could very easily do. Given the right kind of packaging. So yeah, but there we go. So we knew we was getting those. And then for Marvel Legends, the rest of the figures that they revealed, like to me, they were really not. I wasn't that fussed. I really wasn't that fussed. You had Venom Pool, which was the old Builder figure. They had that released as a deluxe. You had Crystal and Lockjaw, which is long. That as a pack was long overdue. But I'm kind of over my Immortals, my Inhumans. Sorry, so I wasn't too fussed about that. You got a Quicksilver in the green outfit, and you got a Punisher 2-pack, and I don't know. None of them swang me. So I'll definitely be picking up the Wolverine and Deadpool. There's no two ways about that.
They've just put on Toy Arc now. I don't remember seeing this on the panel, but there's a orange and yellow Wolverine. Marvel Legend.
Yes. So the brown suited Wolverine has kind of just been announced today. It
makes no sense to put that out on the Sunday after doing the panel on the Friday.
It's popped up online now. I don't know whether they just put it in the cabinet and they forgot to mention it, or I don't know. But there is a new brown costumed Wolverine that's also coming out, which is cool.
The Star Wars panel even was, I don't know, poor.
I think the problem with the Star Wars panel is that it heavily fell on the Acolyte. And I think if the Acolyte was received better, then it felt like the Star Wars panel had been put together with the idea that the Acolyte was going to blow up like the Mandalorian. Because if it had, there was like lots of extra characters that were released as figures, and that would have got a lot of pops. They did a little bit of the 3 3/4 inch line, didn't they? There was stuff. There was stuff for Star Wars fan,
Yeah.
but there was nothing there that kind of made me go, I need to pick those up. So I
Yeah.
wasn't bothered.
That's kind of how I felt about it as well. I was like, I don't collect 3 3/4 inch, and none of that really got me. And then the 6 inch stuff, I was like, I don't
No.
really need more troopers.
The
A lot more
the
troopers were released.
the Transformers panel though was probably one that got me most excited. Now I
So
don't
I didn't
know.
see the Transformers panel. I'm not quite sure what was announced.
Well, as you know, I went to see an advanced
Yeah.
screening of Transformers One on
Mm.
Thursday night, which I can't talk about. I'm under like what is it,
NDA.
embargo and stuff. Yeah. So I can't talk about the actual film, but I can tell you that it's amazing. It is such a good film, so fun, and it's not out in cinemas until October, but it is so much fun and yeah, just everywhere. It's just brilliant. And I took my eldest son and we absolutely loved it. But I don't know if it's because I was kind of off the back of that I was kind of interested to see what came out in the Transformers panel. They had a couple of Transformers One. I think they had a Transformers One Megatron come out, but there was a couple of bits in there that kind of stood out to me. And the first one was the Knight Rider crossover, because yeah. Shelley said, I'm going to fall asleep. I'm not going to fall asleep, but I am still here. It's not actually as dark. Like you can kind of see me a little bit.
You can see I don't know.
It's not actually as dark. It's actually really bright out here. Like I can see, but I won't fall asleep. I'm fine. But yeah, there was a night rider crossover. So we have a lot of the crossovers, don't we, with Transformers? So it's cool to see Kit in the Transformers thing. But the bit that got me the most excited was the G.I. Joe and Transformers crossover. Because when I spoke to B-Mac in October back at MCM, he talked about the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover being in the works and how they had like a prototype on the desk and everything and all the rest of it. So we were kind of expecting some kind of full-sized Optimus Prime that scaled with the 6-inch Joes, but then obviously this was a 3 3/4 inch Joe with a Sergeant Slaughter and whatnot. So it was cool. It was cool. I think it's quite a cool little crossover that they've done. But yeah, it's nothing to write home about. And obviously the Joes had their HasLab on display as well, didn't they?
They did.
And that's fully funded now, from what I believe.
Yeah. They didn't. They didn't really do a Ghostbusters panel as such, but they did a trivia thing.
Yeah, which is an interesting take.
Yeah, and they gave away like in between asking this podcast people. It was the Yes Have Some podcast that were called. Obviously from the famous line in Ghostbusters 1, yes, have some. They're like a Ghostbusters fandom podcast. And they were asking them questions, and in between questions they would basically like give them a clue as to what the HasLab may be. And there was a lot of random stuff. But to be honest, like we said, like there was like a coffee cup with "I saw the Statue of Liberty walk" written on it.
Yeah.
Then there was like the firehouse keys, with the address on for the firehouse. They also did a weird thing. Before they gave the key, they pulled out another key, which was for the hotel room from Ghostbusters 1.
Yeah.
And then quickly went, oh no, sorry, wrong key, and gave them another key. And then there was the green slime, and then the pinky red slime in vials with like handwritten things on them from Egon. Very much hinting at that this could be, something that spans both movies. I still think it's a 3 3/4 inch firehouse. To be honest, they're all things that will, like you said, would belong in a firehouse.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I genuinely think they're going to go for the firehouse just because they've obviously released the 3 3/4 inch Ecto 1. They've released the 3 3/4 inch figures. It would give the Ghostbusters line a new lease of life.
My only thing that I could, I'm more than 100% sure that it's going to be the firehouse. But the only thing that I thought of was because they were heavily leaning towards Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
And they're going down the route of 3 3/4 inch, and they said it's a vehicle, but they said it can't be the Ecto 1.
Is that what they said?
Well, potentially they weren't giving it away, but they were saying sort of if it's a vehicle. it wouldn't be the Ecto 1 because they've already done that. What else could it be? The only other thing that I was thinking of was because of the coffee cup and the fact that there was pink slime shown, it couldn't be a 3 3/4 inch Statue of Liberty, could it? And then you put the
Oh,
figures inside of it, like the figures fit inside it.
maybe.
It would have to be like ridiculous, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be massive, like
But then
massive.
that would then be a reason for it being a HasLab. A Firehouse would fund regardless. They wouldn't need to do a fundraiser for that. They could just release that like they did the Boba Fett one at mass retail on Pulse, and it would sell.
But I think that if you think of the Cantina being the price of like what 400,
You think they're
300,
going to go down
400.
that modular route again, like release the Firehouse as a base thing and then offer more bits at a higher price?
I think what we've seen with the Cantina is that works for HasLab. 3 3/4 inch deluxe version or regular version, it works.
So
So
now we have to decide whether we want 100 vials of beakers and lab
yeah,
equipment.
it'll be 100 cups, 100 cups saying
100
that I
beakers.
saw. Yeah. But no, I think it would work. I think it would work. And I know that you've had the Playmobiles, right? The Playmobil one. Like, I've had the Playmobil one. You know, that having it wouldn't take much to make a full scale firehouse to go 3 3/4 inch. I just think and I think you could do it very much. You could have it half open as your standard offering, and then they give you the other half as like the deluxe offering. So you can have it open on display, or you can actually just get a full wraparound. I think it is. I think it's. I still fully believe that it's going to be a firehouse. Need to start making space for where a 3 3/4 inch firehouse is going to go. But yeah, so it's yeah. Toy wise from Hasbro, it was okay. It was entertaining. There wasn't anything that shocked me. I kind of go on in. I kind of wish. Oh look, we're both in the dark now. We are both still here, so I'm just gonna have to keep talking so that you know that the podcast is actually still live. I personally, with the leaks of the Wolverine and Deadpool figures, I kind of wish that they hadn't been leaked. Now I know it's really difficult to kind of keep the internet from having those leaks because things leak. You get people that get their hands on a figure and they'll share a picture. I think that if they hadn't leaked, those Deadpool and Wolverine figures would have got a huge pop, because there are other companies out there that have done Deadpool and Wolverine. The one that's obviously taken my interest is Hot Toys. They're doing a 1/6 scale version of the figures, but they were released ahead of the film coming out because there wasn't anything in there that kind of spoilt the film. It was all stuff that you would have seen in the trailer. But I think if the Marvel Legends were able to keep that under wraps, then that would have got an absolutely huge pop. Now, a couple of things to say about those figures is that there is a lot of new tooling on those figures. So there's a lot more articulation in them. There's a lot more tooling. I haven't seen them in hand. They did do an event at the Disney store in London for us UK guys to go and actually see them in hand. The guys over at Hasbro did offer an invitation to myself and Sorrell, but we weren't able to make it down there. So I think if I'd seen them in hand, I might be a little bit more excited than I am. But yeah, either way, they're going to be great figures. They are going to be good figures. So I was just saying that if they were able to keep those Deadpool and Wolverine figures under wraps, they probably got a bigger pop from the audience when they were revealed.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And I just said that obviously they were in hand in London at the Disney store, but neither of us went down. I was in Wales, so there was no way I was going to make it down to the Disney store. But yeah, so I've not seen the articulation in hand, but there is a lot more articulation on them from the new tooling. So yeah,
and they're all
there we go.
pinless as well, I believe.
Yes. The other thing that interested me was Mondo announcing their Ghostbuster line. Now we obviously knew that it was coming because we've seen it kind of teased, but actually seeing the figures and the concept art for the figures is very exciting. The other thing as well, the figure that Hasbro released that I think is worth talking about was the Marvel Legends Dragon Man. See, that's kind of how I felt now. Now, Dragon Man was one of those ones that he came out. I want to say something like 2008,
Yeah, a long time
2007.
ago now.
And it was before the official kind of Marvel Legends like line. It wasn't. They weren't part of Marvel Legends. They were actually part of the other line of figures. I can't remember what
Wasn't
they
it
were
a Toy
called.
Biz figure back then as well?
Yeah, but I
Mm,
don't think it was under the Legends banner.
no.
But the Dragon Man figure goes for a ridiculous amount, or used to go for ridiculous amounts of money online because they were few and far between. So everyone's been crying out for Dragon Man for a long time, and they finally do give it to us. But what's interesting is they've made it like an ultra premium figure, so it is
Yeah.
huge, and there was no mention of a HasLab. So people have been saying, does that mean we're not going to get a HasLab, and instead we're just going to get a few of these kind of premium figures? Because again, that does open up a lot of opportunity for other bigger figures that aren't quite HasLab size.
I don't think so. I think they're biding their time. They've released a couple of figures that people could pop up at San Diego, and then they know they've got their convention coming up in September.
Yeah, well, that's the thing as well, is that they have always, for the last couple of years, this is the fifth PulseCon that they've done.
Mm-hmm.
And for the last couple of years, they've always announced the Marvel Legends HasLab at PulseCon.
Yep.
So until PulseCon's come and gone, I think we're still very much in the running for a Marvel HasLab. I don't know what it's going to be. I think it might be a Fantastic Car.
Potentially.
That's
Yeah.
where my thinking's going, just based on obviously the Marvel reveals on day 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you mean.
So yeah, so that was about it for figures. Was there anything else that piqued your interest?
I mean, NECA, as usual, obviously they had an array of horror figures on display and turtles and all sorts of cool stuff. I
Yeah,
didn't really pay too much attention to the turtle stuff, but I know there was a lot of Last Ronin and comic book stuff there.
yeah. There's a lot of Last Ronin stuff out.
But horror related, I mean, we finally got the announcement of Peter Cushing's Van Helsing.
That's
So
good.
that'll be nicely alongside the Christopher Lee Dracula. In fact, we finally got to see Megan after a year of waiting for the ultimate figure for that. So she was on display.
Nice.
Other than that, I mean, Living Dead dolls from Mezco. They announced that they're going to do the Pale Girl from the Terrifier.
I've lost. Yeah, hang
That's
on. I've lost
cool.
my. There we go. I lost my audio for a second.
Oh.
I'm
Yeah, we
back.
had the Pale Girl announced from Mezco, from the Living Dead dolls collection. Leatherface as well was announced, so they're quite kind of cool. Monster High announced. Well, we already knew Wednesday was coming, but they finally showed it off like officially.
Nice.
So there was thousands of toys. I mean, Mattel showed off the Teenage Mutant Turtles crossover with He-Man, and they're now doing a line that's now called the Reptilian Wars.
Oh, cool.
So like all the characters are now reptiles.
Amazing. It's like something that you
Yeah.
never knew you
It's like
realised
a
you
wave.
needed.
It's like a wave 2, isn't it? It's just an idea for them. But the cool
Yeah.
thing that Mattel came out with was that they are going to do He-Man crossed over with Thundercats next year.
That's
Finally.
such good news. That's such good news. But
We've been
my
saying
only
for years,
concern,
I know
though,
you've been saying for years that you've always wanted Thundercats that scaled with your He-Mans.
yeah, but that was my kind of query, is that are they going to kind of scale them up to be more in line with what the Thundercat figures were like, or are they going to sort of scale them down so that they're more in line with what the He-Man figures were like?
I would
Because
like to think they would go based off, because there's already been the comic book, which was wildly successful. I would like to think they would use that for scaling, because they got it perfect. Because like He-Man is big, but you know the Thundercats are larger because they're cat creatures.
yeah,
They're not human.
see, I would like them to scale with the recent kind of Masterverse and all those kind of figure
Hopefully
sizes.
they will, but I've got a feeling it might be Origins.
Yeah.
They usually go for the Origins crossovers, don't they? Like all the turtles are in that static regular
Yeah, see
pose.
that would disappoint me, because I never saw Thundercats as those kind of figures. It works for Turtles and it works for He-Man, but Thundercats weren't in that style.
Yeah, it does worry me a little bit, because I think it's because of Super 7. Super 7 obviously have the highly articulated 7-inch license for Thundercats.
Yeah.
He and Mattel might have to stick with their traditional 5-inch static posed old school retro style to get around licensor kind of stuff.
Yeah, we'll have
in
to
my
see.
opinion.
Bethany Beth said about the Sesame Street NECA figures.
Yes, there were those announced as well. So they're very
Shelley's
much
jumped on that as well.
Yeah, they're very much in keeping with the Diamond Select Muppets.
Yep.
So they've released NECA figures that look like they would scale very well with the Diamond Select Muppets. They've got the same sort of articulation, that kind of like wrap around elbow joint that Diamond use, and they look like they've come from the same line. To be honest, it does look like they've lent into that so that you could put the Kermit the Frog from your Muppet collection with your NECA collection, and it would match, kind of thing.
Yeah. Speaking of
cool.
The Muppets as well, they showed the prototype of what's his name as well. Diamond Select.
I forgot his name. What's he called?
Sweetums.
Sweetums.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was very cool. The other one as well was Jada Toys. Did you see their Street Fighter?
Yeah, the entire lineup was set up there, wasn't it? The entire lineup.
So, and I haven't got a picture in front of me, so I can't tell you the names, but they looked wicked.
Every single figure was there from the back of the box, basically. And they even announced this week that they're doing the Ken, like evil Ken figure to match the evil Ryu.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
they're
saw
doing the
that.
Player 2 figures, but then they've also got these like evil versions of Ken and Ryu from the anime as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be wicked. It's going to be wicked. But yet we're still waiting for Bison and Dalsim to land with our online retailers over here.
They're in Smiths, though, you find.
No, I know they are. I think Smiths is the place to go for your Street Fighters.
I think if people haven't got them by now because they're waiting on the online retailers, they've missed out because Smiths have sold out of Bison and Dalsim in my area. They've still got Ken and they've still got Ryu, but most of the Chun-Li's and Dalsims, Bisons have all gone now.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit and wait to see who else gets them in.
But did you see what else Jada Toys put out this weekend, which was very cool to see?
Possibly.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo!
Yes. Yeah.
So on the Friday, they just had this display set up. There was like a haunted room with like a door, and like the door was like ajar a little bit, and they put Shaggy behind it, like cowering behind the door. That was kind of the first image. Then on day 2, they moved him out to the front, and they put the like zombie green character. They put him next to him, and then on day 2 they added another villain character sort of next to him. And then they've not shown us anything else since, but they are showing us obviously that a Scooby-Doo line is definitely in the works and is coming very soon. By the looks of that.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, I mean, toy-wise, there was loads. There was loads of stuff, and it's good to see so many different lines getting kind of the toy treatment.
Yeah, 100%.
It really was. Anything else, or should we move on to day 2?
No, because I think it's time for trailers because there's been so much trailers to talk about.
Yeah, there really is. Right, so day 2 was obviously a lot of the movie news and stuff. Where do we even start with day 2?
Did you see? Because I know you're. I'm conscious that you're away. Have you seen much of the news from like the trailers and stuff?
I've seen a few. There's a couple I still need to catch up on that I'll be doing after the show.
Did you see the Interview with the Vampire season 3 one?
No, I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, so season 1 of Interview with the Vampire, obviously based on Interview with the Vampire. Season 2 kind of started. It was the end of Interview with the Vampire, and it went into the Vampire stat book. Whereas the 3rd season, we are definitely heading towards Queen of the Damned. Because in this trailer, he's sort of like being interviewed by like Hollywood sort of paparazzi people, and he's slowly getting more and more like his eyes are getting bluer and his fangs are coming out, and he slowly gets blood covered throughout the trailer, like bits of blood comes flying up at him. And then you actually hear his like music, like they've made music for him, like in the movies. But obviously this time around,
awesome.
it's the actor that's playing him singing, which is cool.
Oh, wow.
So it's not. So obviously in the movie, obviously it was famously made by it was Korn, wasn't it? Korn and Linkin Park, I think, did a lot of the music for the original movie. Yep. This time round, it's the actual actor singing, and he sounds good.
That's wicked. That's really cool.
So we are heading towards the Akasha storyline and Queen of the Damned now, which is kind of cool.
That is cool as well because it was Aaliyah, wasn't it, in the
Yeah,
movie?
Mm-hmm.
And no disrespect. I mean, as a movie, it was fair enough. It was okay, but it wasn't a true representation
No.
of the Queen of the Damned story. It was
Both films were made independently of each other. They didn't look like they linked in any way, shape, or form. It was very
no.
weird.
It was very much a kind of Interview with the Vampire did well. Let's do one of the other books, but like you say, independently from the actual film. And it was okay, but it felt like one of those movies that was kind of, we really like this story and we're going to give you our own take on it. Whereas this, this style of Interview with the Vampire seems a lot more kind of coherent with the books.
Yeah, and to keep the whole verse, because they're calling it the Anne Rice Chronicles, which is what the books were called. The Mayfair Witches has got a second season renewed as well with AMC, so they are very much keeping this alive. It's still on, it's ongoing, so we're going to get the Witches return as well.
Excellent. Did you see the DC logo reveal?
No, I didn't see that one.
So DC Studios has got a new logo reveal. Well, I say new logo, it's the DC Bullet. The kind of the circular logo with the stars and everything like that. So they've basically got that with Studios written underneath. So James Gunn announced it and everything like that. So that's, we officially are DC Studios and Marvel Studios. Like that's they're the two kind of comic book studios out there. But yeah, that was quite cool.
Did you see the speaking of DC and James Gunn? Did you see his first animated outing for his new multiverse? Was the Creature Commandos?
I did, yes.
This looks
that
good.
Looks very good. Yeah.
Yes, you've got the bride, obviously the bride of Frankenstein. Frankenstein himself's in there. Weasel, which we did see in Suicide Squad, which is pretty cool.
Who is also voiced by his brother. What's his name? Sean Gunn.
Mm-hmm.
So he's actually, because he did the mocap suit and the voice for him in Suicide Squad, and he's now going to do it in the animated series. Not that it's like a really vocal part, but Vin Diesel did Groot's voice for how many films and spin-offs and everything. Yeah. So this is like the new Groot part, isn't it?
Yeah, and then there's a Dr. Phosphorus, who's kind of like their take on like the Invisible Man kind of thing, and then GI Robot as well thrown in there.
I know, yeah.
And there's like a Creature of the Black Lagoon kind of female character as well. But this looks awesome with obviously with the main, I forgot his name, it's Flag again, isn't it? He's the leader of the team, and it's kind of a new task force. They're calling it Task Force M for Monster.
Yeah. So
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think it's a very clever way of doing a kind of Suicide Squad-esque spin-off that's not directly a Suicide Squad spin-off and doesn't come with all the risks of obviously doing a big feature-length film.
Well, the first chapter of James Gunn's DC verse is being called Of Gods and Monsters. That's what it's called. So this is the first step. And they have said, just because these characters are animated does not mean they will not appear in live action later down the line. This is just their introduction, and it's using DC animation, which is a big part of the DC multiverse, and they do want to make the animated stuff more part of the live action as well. That's what I've said.
And like we just said, Weasel is already in live action, and they've crossed him over into the animations. There's no reason why they can't do it the other way around.
Yeah.
So I did see that trailer. I'm quite excited. And DC, historically, DC have always done very well with their animated series and movies and stuff. So I think, I've got a lot of faith in this.
The idea of it being the monsters, well, it will lend itself to animation pretty well, like Frankenstein and stuff like that will just work in that format.
Oh yeah, definitely. So what other trailers were there then that I might have missed?
Doctor Who? You see Doctor Who?
No, I still haven't caught up with all of Doctor Who yet.
Yeah, there's no spoilers or anything, but it's a Doctor Who is going through various doors. Obviously, it's like his TARDIS can appear behind any door. Basically, is the mythology.
Yeah.
So he like keeps opening these doors, and he's got a pumpkin latte and a muffin or something on a tray, and he's sort of like opening the door and going, "Fancy a latte?" And like it's like there was like the Orient Express, there was like the President's office or something. There was like various high-profile places, and then he opens this random door to a hotel room, and it's the girl from Derry Girls and Bridgerton
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Netflix, the blonde girl from Ireland. It's her basically. She's going to be the new kind of doctor's apprentice, if you will. The new how do
Oh,
you want
right. Oh, that's cool. Well, they
companion?
finished
That's the word.
with
We're called companion.
what was the last one called? Ruby,
She
wasn't it?
was Ruby was a one season wonder. I'm afraid she was a
Oh,
good one, but she's a one season wonder.
okay, fair enough. I do like that they're sticking with that though, because obviously Doctor Who's gone over to Disney, haven't they? So they've got the Who-niverse or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah, there's a lot of
It's
money behind it now because they also kind of gave us that the basically in the UK it will continue to be made by BBC and put out by BBC,
yeah,
but in America it's now obviously Disney Plus.
yeah.
So Disney are putting money behind it, and for the European audiences, it will be available on Netflix as of next year.
Oh wow.
So Netflix are now behind it as well. That's probably why we've got the crossover with the blonde as well, because she's obviously from Bridgerton and a
Yeah,
lot of things that are on Netflix. She's up and coming, isn't she?
yeah.
So that's
Speaking
quite
of
cool.
Netflix, they also
Mm.
announced that. Did you catch the Toys That Made Us are having a new series?
Yeah, I'm well excited for that.
Yeah. Did they
Have you seen?
announce what toys they're gonna do?
Yes, they did.
Okay, go on.
Let me
I
get this
didn't.
thing up. I'll get it
I
up.
didn't see the list. I just saw the announcement that they're getting a new series, and I just thought, yeah, I'm
Mate,
sold.
this
Doesn't
look
matter what it
awesome.
is.
These are the toys that made us. Yes, so seasons 4 and 5 have been announced. They gave us the listings for season 4, not 5, sadly. But season 4, I'm guessing it must be because it's already in the works or whatever. But episode 1 is going to be superhero toys. So we're looking at the history of Batman with Kenner in that
Brilliant,
episode.
brilliant.
Episode 2 will be Nerf and Hasbro's love of the Nerf gun.
Oh, cool.
Episode 3 is Pokemon
Has to be
from
done.
from cards to figurines.
Had to be done.
Episode 4 is called American Greetings. So we're looking at Care Bears, Strawberry Shortcake, Monster in My Pocket, all that kind of stuff.
Brilliant.
Episode 5 is Hot Wheels with Hasbro.
I thought they'd already done Hot Wheels.
No, it's got an upcoming episode. Episode 6 is Ghostbusters.
Yes.
That was the one that most
Yes.
people
Yes.
popped for.
Yeah,
Episode
I'm excited
7 will
about
be
that
Polly Pocket.
Nice.
And episode 8 is the one I'm most excited for. Fast food toys, the history of Burger King and McDonald's toys.
That will be a good one. That'd be a really interesting one.
That's a very popular subject. There's a lot of collectors out there that do collect the McDonald's toys.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be wicked. I don't think it's such a good series. It's a really good series, even if it's focusing on a line that doesn't interest you. I just think they're so well put together with a history of stuff
Mm-hmm.
that it's just good fun to watch. The Ghostbuster one will be good.
I've just got to say, Shelley, how could you not have been impressed with that last season? We got to find out that there's a giant demon on the top of the TARDIS for the last 20 years, clinging on for dear life every time it sets off, going, "Oh no!" That was the funniest part, because that was the funniest part ever.
Yeah.
There's like a shadow creature, basically, like a big old baddie from the 70s. And apparently, ever since the 70s, this thing has apparently been overshadowing the TARDIS, basically clinging onto it for dear life. And it has been tagging along for the ride ever since, apparently, but we couldn't see him. It was the weirdest ending to the season ever, but it was funny just at the idea of this creature just hanging on. Like,
That is quite funny. That is quite funny. All right, so then after trailers, are we going to talk Marvel?
Yeah, we need to jump into that panel.
We need to talk Marvel. Okay, so let's do a very quick overview of everything else, because I think one particular thing is going to take up most of the remainder of the show.
Yeah.
So we saw the Thunderbolts cast were there. They all came out, and the people in attendance were treated to a trailer for the Thunderbolts, which
Mate, I've got to say,
I'm really excited for.
I've got to say, they must be paying Harrison Ford a lot of money. He was the most animated I've ever seen him, and I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about this is the man from Star Wars, and I've not seen him that animated in about 30 years.
No, he was very excited. Very excited. I really love the Winter Soldier. It's one of my favorite characters. One of my favorite I love the way he's been portrayed in the MCU, and I'm just really excited to see his journey post Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the TV show, because it was a lot of him coming to terms with stuff, wasn't there, in that show? So I'm excited to sort of see him hopefully kind of come into his own now as his own character, because his whole journey through the MCU has been exactly that. It's been a journey. He's been dealing with stuff and all the rest of it. Whereas this will be the first film that potentially he can just be himself, be his kind of new self and everything. So I'm excited to see where that goes. And it brings back a lot of characters from old films, like other films, and kind of throws them all together. Harrison Ford, obviously, is now playing Thunderbolt Ross, and is going to be the Red Hulk, clearly, in the new Captain America film. We saw that in the trailer, and there was a Captain America Brave New World kind of panel as well, wasn't there, where they talked about that. I'm really hoping that this film's good. Really hoping it's good, just because it's kind of riding on the coattails of Deadpool and Wolverine. I want it to be good.
The problem is, this film is the last movie, the last major Avengers movie, should we say, before Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Because then after Secret Wars, then Doomsday, isn't it?
Yeah. No, other way around.
Oh, is it Doomsday then Secret Wars?
Yeah. Doomsday is 25 and Secret
So this
Wars
is the last major Avengers kind of Captain America. Because there's no Thor movie, there's no Iron Man movie. So this, for me, this is the last major Avengers movie before the next Avengers kind of ensemble.
that we currently know about. Like, obviously, the two Avengers films are penned for 2025 and 26. No, 25 and 27, isn't it?
I don't remember. I can't remember.
Yeah.
February 14th, Captain America's Brave New World.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, for me, the clip that's going viral at the moment is Anthony Mackie talking about Tom Holland. Have you seen that one where he kind of... There's a clip of them a while back where Tom Holland basically says, well, you haven't got your own movie. There's not a Falcon movie, is there? And then on this panel, Anthony Mackie kind of calls Tom Holland out and says, well, now I've got a movie, but you're still the height you are, or whatever. And I just thought, the fact that that's the clip that's going viral doesn't say a lot doesn't hold the film in high regard for me. Like, I'm hoping it's good. I'm really hoping it's good, because I want Captain America. I want Sam Wilson's Captain America to hold his own and be as I want him to. I want it to do well. I really want it to do well. I'm hoping. My fingers are crossed. My fingers are crossed. Anyway, so we had that. Fantastic Four, the cast were all in attendance. First time we've kind of seen them all together in a room. They were literally leaving San Diego Comic-Con and starting filming. And what was going on with that Fantastic car? Like, that was really random. Like, they kind of made a Fantastic car fly around the hall, didn't they? And then it disappeared, and they all kind of waved and went off.
Well, that car did feature in a certain movie that came out this weekend, didn't it?
It did, yeah. It did. They already had the prop made. But yeah, I'm excited for that. The thing that I took away from that is that they did confirm that Galactus and the Silver Surfer will be present in the Fantastic Four film. They didn't say whether it was that Galactus was the main villain or whether they were just going to be present. So
I can't imagine that they're going to use both Silver Surfer and Galactus in one big go. That's too much of a big thing, really. For a first movie that's mainly going to be origin story, let's be honest. There's no way they're going to ruin that. I think they'll put the seedlings of Silver Surfer and maybe have Silver Surfer talking, because he's the Herald, isn't it? So have Silver Surfer talking to Galactus and things like that. Have a bit of an origin story there.
Well, that's it, and they've cast a woman, haven't they? I can't remember her name, but it's going to be a female Silver Surfer. So I don't know how they're going to work that in, but yeah, I kind of imagined it to be done in a similar way to Thanos throughout the Infinity build-up.
I hope so.
that it was just kind of like small cameo bits after credit scenes and stuff like that. Like that, you
That would
can't
be
have
cool.
Fantastic Four going up against Galactus and winning, or doing something like that, and then it coming to nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really hoping they're not going to face Galactus as a villain until after Secret Wars in 2027. I can't see them doing it that quick. You know what I mean? It needs
Yeah.
to span out.
There you go. Shelley's just corrected us on dates here. So you've got Captain America, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four all coming out next year in 2025. Doomsday is 26. Secret Wars is 27. I thought that was how it was. I knew it was consecutive years, but so yes, that was Fantastic Four. So what? That's all of it, isn't it? There was Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, and Captain America. Which that in itself was kind of like, okay, this isn't that, you know. They also confirmed Blade as well. Blade in Phase 6.
Blade is in hell right now. They're not doing well with Blade. Either. They keep losing people. It's not going well for them.
The thing is, as well, for Blade to come out at the time that they've said it's going to be coming out, they need to really start working on it.
I see. We can't, again, spoilers, man. Can't go into it. But
no.
See, I feel like everything we've seen so far has been a red herring.
Yeah.
And I've got a feeling that what we've seen in and he's
yeah.
It's hard to talk about.
It is. So let's talk about. Yeah, I do. Okay. Let's talk about what we did see. So the Russo brothers have been confirmed as to return to direct both Secret Wars and the now titled Doomsday. So it was originally going to be the Kang Dynasty and then Secret Wars, and obviously they have now quite clearly just wiped Kang from existence. Like, he just does not exist, which I don't think fares too well for the MCU, because they were doing such a big build up. You can't just kind of leave something and not talk about it again. There is still that kind of cliffhanger.
I was just pretending at this point that Iron Man wiped him out solo.
Yeah, I
is
think
that what we're kind of getting at now?
Something happened and we didn't even see it, but it happened. But them coming back to direct those two Avenger films is obviously very exciting news, because famously they worked on The Winter Soldier. They do Civil War as well.
They did Civil War. They did Winter Soldier. They did Infinity War and Secret War. Infinity War
and Endgame. Yeah. And obviously the Russo brothers knocked it out of the park with those four. They are four of the strongest Marvel films, previous Marvel films, and they're definitely held as the kind of best Marvel. They're held in the regard of being like the better Marvel directors, aren't they?
And they also, obviously, you got to think they worked with large ensemble casts in all of those movies, because they obviously had a lot of characters to juggle in those movies, and they did it perfectly. So.
Yeah, very well. So they were announced as the directing duo, and then they announced that the writers are the same as well. So we're basically getting the production team of Infinity War and Endgame, which was fantastic. And at that point, I just thought, this is cool. Like, they're kind of admitting that there's been a bit of a problem. They're bringing in the team that know how to sort it out, and maybe things are going to turn around. And then they filled the stage with Dooms. So when they announced that it was going to be Doomsday instead of the Kang Dynasty, they filmed the stage with people dressed up as Doctor Doom. And they then said the only actor that could play Doctor Doom, like the best actor in the world.
They said, to bring the words were to bring Victor Von Doom to the movie theaters. They needed the world's best actor to play him.
Yeah.
And then they had a load of people dressed as Doctor Doom kind of enter.
Yeah, it then parted ways, didn't it? And then one character came forward, removed the mask.
It was Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr.
With his and the fact that he put his shades on instantly, he put his Tony Stark shades straight back on, and did the whole accept me, acknowledge me.
I just, you know what really threw me?
Went mental for it. The crowd went nuts. I was expecting a different reaction than that.
Yeah, the bit that threw me was the final words that he said when he said, "New mask, same task."
Same task.
that really threw me because I was like, what does that mean? Are you saying that you're now a different character and you're going to carry the MCU again? Or what? Like, how? And I just think if you're paying Robert Downey Jr. to come back, bring Tony Stark back. Like, bring Iron Man back.
I think that's what's potentially gonna for Secret Wars. We've had this discussion, and I kind of went down the initial route of going, "Oh crap, this can't work." It's because you can't have somebody who's played such a prophilic character in this universe then play a different character. So then my brain went mental with the whole maybe is a variant of Iron Man that become Doctor Doom, which is in the comics. There is a what if comic based upon that. But I think that is too friggin' easy to do. So I don't think he's Doctor Doom at all at this point. I'm hoping he's not. I'm hoping that he's cast in the movie, but he's not actually Doom, and this is all a red herring, and this is just to keep us excited. I think they've potentially brought him back to play a younger version of Tony Stark when Reed Richards, Tony Stark, and Victor Von Doom were all in college together, because that's where the comics were. They were all in college together at the same college at the same time. So I'm hoping that's the storyline they're going for.
I really want to believe that, but I don't know if it's true.
I'm scared at this point.
I think it. Most of the people that have spoke to me about here have said that it just reeks desperation because it's kind of like, okay, the MCU is not doing great. Everyone's criticizing us. So let's bring back the directors that did well and let's bring the actor that was the main character.
I'm hoping the idea being is something along the lines of, yes, we defeated Thanos and that was the 1 in a million chance, right? But to defeat Doom, we need Iron Man. And there's a whole thing of how do we keep the timeline correct so that Doom is defeated, but also Thanos is defeated. I'm hoping to go down that road, and it's a case of trying to bring Tony back.
Yeah.
Without messing up the Thanos timeline, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like the tampering with time.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could think of how it would work and how they would, because there's got to be something that ties Stark and Doom together for them to do this, surely.
Yeah.
If it is just the simple case of the Doctor Doom is a Tony Stark variant from an alternate universe, and that's the end of the multiverse thing, that sucks massively and reeks of desperation.
Like I comment, I think it was Steve's actually. Steve commented, like, did a kind of what's people's opinions, and my opinion was like, there's lots of pros to this, but there's also lots of cons. Like there's lots of goods, but there's also lots of bads. I think my biggest issue is that is it a great casting? Is that Robert Downey Jr. a good casting for Doctor Doom? Yes, I believe he is. No. Standalone. Forget about Iron Man. Yeah. I just mean as a having Robert Downey Jr. play Doctor Doom, that could work. But because he is so significantly Iron Man in this Marvel universe, it's just a massive waste of a cast. Like they could cast a really good actor and have that standalone Doom. Like let's create a new Robert Downey Jr. in the Marvel universe as opposed to reuse the old Robert Downey Jr. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I did a poll on my channel. I'm not sure if you're able to show this right now with the way you are. But,
Yeah, okay.
I did a poll on my channel, and I basically asked the question, are you excited by the SDCC news that Robert Downey Jr. will return in the MCU as Doctor Doom? 123 people have voted so far, and most of them have said yes. There's very few people saying no.
So they are excited about it.
123 people that have voted so far have all kind of gone for the yes, say they're excited. I'm
not excited.
I'm not excited at all, mate. I'm really worried about it.
I'd never called it. Like if I was a gambling man, I would have never put money on Robert Downey Jr. being cast as Doctor Doom. Ever.
Honestly, I really assumed we were going for the Cavill. I thought Cavill of all people would be the better option because he's big, he's muscular, he's got the voice.
Yeah.
Come on, he would have been the perfect Brit actor to play because Doom's meant to be British. Robert Downey Jr. is not British.
No, he's not. He's not British.
Latvian.
He's
Well, he's ruler of Latvia.
He's Latvian, yeah, isn't he? So, but even that, I mean, like Robert Downey Jr. is not. He's just, I don't know,
Are we gonna get him doing a weird accent? Is he gonna do like a dodgy
like Tropic
European accent?
Thunder.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't. I'm excited, but I'm not. Like, it's a really hard one to put my finger on because I just, when I saw it, I didn't pop the way that, I don't know, like some people did.
And
I don't know whether I'm missing something.
yeah, and looking at the lineup, you know, when you look at the lineup of films, where does Blade fit into that storyline?
No, I know. Just doesn't, does it? I think it's just
No, it doesn't
Blade
fit.
is just, it's just because it's so delayed.
It just doesn't seem to fit in this timeline in any way, shape. Like they're gonna introduce Blade, then do 2 Avengers movies over consecutive years without him in it. It's just gonna, and then they're gonna lose the actor again, and it's just gonna be a public
Unless
like
he
a
unless he is in it. Unless he is in it.
How could they put Blade in that? His character doesn't fit that storyline. Like in the comics, they always wait to use Blade for it to be something supernatural or, you know, like
Yeah.
Kelvian kind of thing for Blade to come into it.
I don't know. I really don't know.
So weird.
But I don't know. Robert Downey Jr. is Doctor Doom. I never called it. And I just think if it is for a studio that is so set on using the right people for the right things and making sure they've got reoccurring people for roles and everything like that, I really would love to see what the writing is. I'd love to see what their opinion is or what the story is or how this works.
Robert Downey Jr. is also very good at not giving away spoilers. He's done it for over 20 years now. He was notoriously looking after Tom Holland for a while to keep him to shut up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's good at holding his own. So, I mean, I'm wondering whether, like you say, this is all a massive red herring and that he's casting these movies, but he's not playing who we think he's playing. Or at least not properly. He's not going to be Victor Von Doom. He might be a Doctor Doom variant in some form or another, but I don't think he's going to be playing Victor Von Doom.
But are you not a bit bored of the variant thing now?
It's just the fact that we need to tie off that storyline somewhere. Like, there's not been no ending to the multiverse bit. So I'm wondering whether this would be the ending to that. As kind of the Doctor Doom storyline. Like, it's all led to Doom's rise. But I mean, like we said in our chat this weekend, I mean, for me, if it is that he's playing Victor Von Doom, that for me that feels like a massive kick in the teeth. We've waited 20 odd years to get Doom in the MCU, the whole Fox thing. We've waited ages to see all these characters reunite under one banner, and then to do that to it just feels very cheap.
Yeah, and
so
I am worried about I'm worried about the ensemble element of Secret Wars as well, because okay, it isn't until 2027, so they've got a lot of time to produce and put things out there and stuff. But the reason why Endgame was so good was because it was all these previous films and these previous storylines all coming together as one at the end, whereas we haven't got that fluidity yet with the post Endgame Marvel universe. So I don't know. I'm worried about how it's going to turn out.
Yeah, I think personally for Secret Wars, I think we've already kind of seen the start of that with the Deadpool movie. Personally,
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
One thing I thought of this weekend. This isn't spoiler territory for anything. This is things we've already seen. You know, obviously, is it called Astaroth, the big dragon thing in the sky that eats people in the Neverwheel? Azeroth, Astaroth, the big dragon thing in the sky.
Yep.
It was in Loki and stuff like that.
Yep.
We've always assumed and we've always had it told to us that when he eats people, he eats them for his own thing and that they're gone and that he's eating their being.
Yeah.
What if that's not the case? What if everyone that he's eaten so far are being transported to the Secret Wars location?
Yeah.
That's where I think they're going with it. So then we would get like the Loki variant. They're played by what's he called? British actor. Can't think
Oh,
of his name.
yeah.
Argus adverts.
Yes, yeah.
You
With
know what I
now and
mean?
I.
Richard E. Grant.
Richard E. Grant.
It would be cool to see him back in Secret Wars as like a Loki, and then
Yeah.
we would have like your Deadpool and your Wolverines kind of thing, and I think that would be cool.
Deadpool and Wolverine are 100% in
Oh,
Secret
yeah,
Wars.
yeah. But I'm wondering
Isn't
whether this whole thing with that would be a cool way of we thought these characters were gone, but actually here they all are. They're now in this other world, ready to fight for the Secret War, and this monster thing has been tasked with bringing them all to the world where they're going to fight.
See, but that means we won't get a Chris Evans Captain America because he obviously died of old age, didn't he?
Not necessarily. Oh, bear in mind, there's variants and multiverses all over the. There's multiple of opportunities. Just because it's not the Chris Hemsworth Captain America from our 616 timeline doesn't mean it's not from another timeline. You know what I mean? There's always the possibility. Same with Iron Man. Just because the 616 Iron Man is dead doesn't mean Iron Man from 100 or 210 isn't dead. You know what I mean?
No. Okay, fair enough.
There's an infinite number of possibilities. That is the whole point of the multiverse. It's a writer's get out clause, really.
Yeah.
It always has been. That's why Marvel use it. It's a very easy way to go, actually, he's from this universe. We'll pluck him from there.
Oh, man.
Which we saw them do in the Deadpool movie, to be honest. That's exactly what they did in the Deadpool movie.
Oh,
So...
I'm worried now, though. but I think... I don't know. I genuinely can't put my finger on it.
No, it's weird.
Like, I genuinely can't.
I'm hoping we learn more as time goes on.
Yeah, I mean, I need to know more, and that's my big takeaway from it is I'm reserving judgment because they have to have a really good story up their sleeve to announce Robert Downey Jr. now, this far in advance.
You've got to think it's the Russo brothers. They were tasked with bringing the probably the best Avengers movies to the screen to date. Let's be honest. So Endgame and Infinity War were the best movies ever.
Yeah, and Winter Soldier and
Civil War as well. Very good movies. So to me, it feels almost like if you take the movies that they've made, okay, ignoring all the other stuff around it. So we started with Captain America, Winter Soldier. That then went into Civil War. If you could then literally jump to Endgame if you want. Sorry, to Infinity War if you wanted to, and it would make sense. So then that was their next film. Then they did Endgame. I think the next two Avengers movies are sequels to their storyline from Endgame, kind of using what has been given to them from around the other movies, but mainly focusing on a continuation of that storyline from Endgame. That's where I feel it's going. That's why Robert Downey Jr. is back, because we're going to see him return in Secret Wars, and there's going to be a lot of trying to bring Tony back, I think, in the Doomsday storyline, and then we'll see his big triumphant return in Secret Wars.
Oh, I don't know.
That's where I'm hoping we're going with it, and that they've got this cohesive storyline already planned out, written, done. Joss Whedon was there, and he's the mastermind of it all. So I mean, I'm gonna give him hope.
Yeah, like I said, I'm reserving judgment until it's out or until we've got more information. But seeing Robert Downey Jr. in the green with the mask did not give me the pop that it gave other people.
The fact it was the fact that he took the mask off and then instantly put the Tony Stark glasses on. It was the big aviators.
Yeah.
He deliberately put those on. That wasn't like a Robert Downey Jr. thing. That felt like a Tony Stark thing for me.
Yeah. I do agree.
I don't think I know he can be a bit of a chauvinistic idiot, but I mean, I don't think even he would put shades on indoors like that. I don't think he would do it.
No. He's kind of just basically...
yeah.
He's basically just kind of become the character, hasn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
But I think that's the danger as well, is that Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. It's the same as... The only thing I can liken it to is it's the same as Hugh Jackman's Wolverine.
It is.
having Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is fantastic, but what if Deadpool was announced and they said, "Oh, we're gonna get, I don't know,
Henry Cavill.
whoever."
Henry Cavill play Wolverine.
No, but more from the. Imagine if there was like a big bad, and they said, "Oh, the villain for Deadpool's film is going to be this person, and it's going to be played by Hugh Jackman." All everyone would go is, "Well, if you've got Hugh Jackman in the film, why are you not having him play Wolverine? Why are you wasting him as Mr. Whoever?"
It's the huge Jackman.
Yeah. Well, actually, Mr. Sinister. Take that as an example. If Mr. Sinister was the bad guy in the Deadpool film, and everyone went, Mr. Sinister is going to be played by Hugh Jackman, everyone would have gone, no, Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. If you've got Wolverine for this film, use him as Wolverine. And that's kind of how I feel with this. Is it's like you've got Robert Downey Jr. back in the MCU. Why would you not be using him as Tony Stark? Like it just makes no sense. It just makes no sense. No, I'm going off on a tangent. Like I don't get it. I don't get this, and I'm not excited about it. Yeah. If you've got him back, bring him back as Iron Man. If they'd pulled him out at Comic-Con and gone, Iron Man will return, and Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr. came out and popped the glasses on and threw up a peace sign, everyone would have gone mental. Don't use him as another character unless it is, like you say, a red herring or a even if he's only kind of like the opening version of Doom or something. I don't know. And there's more to what he's going to do in the movie. But if he is just out and out the main Doctor Doom character, it's not going to sit well with me.
What if? Because there's nothing to say that there's not going to be multiple Dooms in this movie. That we're going to get the eventual 616 Victor Von Doom for the timeline, for the Sacred Timeline version. But what if there is, because there is the comic book variant of Iron Man becoming Doctor Doom. What if they do go to that universe to collect that version of Tony Stark, because he's got the thing to defeat Doom because he is technically a Doom. You know what I mean? Like he thinks like Doom does, and the way to defeat Doom is by bringing this Iron Man that also is a Doom kind of thing, and that brings an Iron Man back to our timeline, something along those lines. That sounds cheesy and crap, but it could work if it's written rightly.
Yeah,
and that would then be a closure to the whole multiverse thing, fully.
Yeah, that's the one thing they definitely need to move away from is they need to really move away from this multiverse and variants and all the rest of it.
But you can see, it's hard to say that because the comic books lean so heavily into that.
Well, yeah, that is
variants and multiverses. You don't have half of the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I mean that is very true, and that's what I think a lot of people do need to kind of keep in mind is that if they are making it comic book accurate, then yeah, okay, using Robert Downey Jr. is a massive one because you've then got the person who plays Iron Man playing Doom.
One of the major complaints so far about the movies have been that they're not comic accurate. They're great movies, but they are nowhere near what the comics are. They're similar and they follow a similar tangent, but they're not the same. And obviously, then we saw the Deadpool movie this weekend, and they shoved Wolverine in the yellow and blue, and that is all people have talked about for the last 2 years. Is the fact that Wolverine's in it and he's in the yellow and blue. I think that has shown Marvel that that's what we want. We want comic accurate versions of these characters, and I think that could be a catalyst for going forward.
Yeah, you might be right.
We might get more comic orientated storylines, a bit more closer to the books.
Yeah, but like you say, one thing is for sure, I don't know how Blade fits into it. It's like, but yeah, I mean, if they do pull Blade off, then that's going to be another thing because Blade is supposed to be coming out in 2025, and it's part of Phase 6. It's meant to be out in 2025, and unless they've just been completely trolling us,
well, I'll tell you a little.
It's not there yet.
I'll tell you a little theory about that off camera because we're not going to spoilers tonight. But I will tell you a little theory about that off camera in a bit.
Yeah, I think I know. I think I know where you're going with that one.
But
But yeah,
I tell you one thing that did come out of this week, which got me, which was my favorite part of the week.
go on then.
I finally, after all these years, got to blow Wolverine.
What is that?
So on Comic Book Wednesday this week,
Yeah.
I went to my local comic book store, and they said that Marvel have sent them a bunch of random little things through for the launch of the new movie, including a Wolverine, face on a party blower, and a Deadpool one.
Amazing. I did you have much merch in your cinema quickly before we
No, they're
finish?
sold out. My
So
Cineworld, all of them sold out in the midnight showing, apparently.
So I went to the midnight showing at Odeon, and they had popcorn buckets, which are like
Nice.
the tin popcorn buckets, not the ones that you've seen online. These were like the kind of the bin kind of the tin bin
Oh,
things.
yeah.
So I got one of those, and they also had like a Deadpool head that was like a drinks cup. And Ryan was at my midnight showing as well, and he had one of those. But they had the keychains, like
Oh,
the
nice.
best
Yeah.
friends. But I asked the guy at Odeon, I said, did you guys get any of the keychains? He said, no, they only sent them to certain Odeons. So they didn't have any of them. So I was really annoyed I didn't get them. But then I was at Cineworld the next day, and they had the Cineworld merch because I was there for Transformers 1. But they had the cups with the little figures on the top, like the head and shoulders on the top. But then they also had a deluxe cup, which was a certain character. Do you know which one it was?
You on about the bucket? There was a bucket basically, with a certain character on it. Yeah.
And it was like them sat on a chair. Yeah. And they were like 40 quid.
Yeah,
Like,
that isn't even out yet. It's not available yet. It's coming out soon, apparently.
No, mate, they were on the shelf at
Were they there?
Cineworld in Leicester Square.
Wow.
And I was with my son, and they were 40 quid. And I was like, they didn't have them at my Odeon. And he was like, get one then. And I was like, oh, I might grab one. And we went in and watched the film. And then when we came out, he was like, you've got to get one of those. And I went there, and it was all gone. The merch was gone. The advertising boards were gone and everything. So I don't know whether they retracted them because they weren't supposed to be out, or they'd completely sold out. But one way or another, they were all gone. And I was like, oh, that's really annoying. But
interesting to know, because I know on the Cineworld website it says that the buckets are coming soon. And that
really?
Because my Cineworld had one of those certain character bucket things on display, but they couldn't sell them yet.
Oh, Andy Roberts said my lad got one, £35.
Yeah, I wonder whether Cineworld have messed up a little bit. Maybe some have sold them early or something.
Andy, was this? I don't want to say what the character is, but was this a character that was sat on a seat?
Like a seat eating, it's a popcorn bucket, and it was a certain Deadpool variant.
Yeah, because if it is, then they looked wicked. And I looked at it and I was like, you know what, that would just be cool as a display piece because they looked really well made as well.
Yeah,
so
a lot of people said they look quality.
Yeah, they really did. But one thing's for sure, now that the film's out, the amount of merch that's going to come out for that film is going to be unreal.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be an onslaught. There's going to be an onslaught very soon.
Yeah. They've got to do more figures. They have to do more 100%. Figures.
They're going to milk this bad boy for all it's worth.
Yeah. So yeah, Andy Roberts said yes, it is. They were behind the food counter. So yeah, I was at Leicester Square Cineworld on the day it came out, and they were there as well. Oh, I'm so annoyed I didn't get one now. I'm really annoyed I didn't get one. So it's one of them things that I was like, I can't go and watch Transformers 1 like, on an advanced preview and walk in with a Deadpool merch. But yeah, but I did pick up some cool Transformers merch though while I was there. Got some limited edition stuff and that, which was really cool. But there was a company there as well. I'll just say this quickly before we finish. And they did, I'm doing the fan home Optimus Prime build.
Yeah.
So there's another company out there. I'll do a proper little post on them at some point so people can see this. But they're basically doing the comic accurate Optimus Prime as opposed to the movie one. And it's a bit bigger, it's a bit chunkier, and it's £1,200 to just buy outright. But it's only over 12 issues. and they
Wow.
send you 12 boxes. You can buy them individually as boxes. And it's all, yeah. If you look at my video that I did a quick video just sort of saying I went to the launch, and you see this Optimus Prime build very quickly. But yeah, but there we go. Shelley as well said there was no Deadpool merchandise left at my view on Friday night. So yeah, there we go. But oh no, I'm glad I got one of the popcorn buckets, the tins, but yeah, it wasn't like the cheesy merch at mine.
Yeah, I went with my dad to see Deadpool. Bless him, he's knocking on my dad now. He's knocking on in age, and he couldn't remember 25 years of Fox movies. He could barely remember the MCU. So I mean, when we watched that film, he's like, "Why are people getting excited about this?" I'm like, "Dad, you don't know who that is." That's like, yeah. I mean, to reel off who these characters are. Like, God's sake.
One thing for sure is before we do our, or it might not be before we do our things. We're going to do it later in the week, aren't we? But I'm definitely going to go and see it again.
Oh, I'm seeing it again, 100%.
I'm 100% going to go and see it again because now I know what to expect. I want to kind of focus in and see what's really there because there are so many layers to this.
Just to say this, it's no, I'm not going to give anything away. But the bit where they're in the campy bit and the characters walk in one by one with that music playing.
Yeah.
I had the biggest nerd out I think I've ever had in the cinema.
Yeah,
there was a certain character that came in that I screamed. I was like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
So
yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's brilliant. John just said, as a Transformers fan since 1984, I'm so jealous Jacob's seen Transformers 1.
I'm annoyed that I couldn't go because how cool would it have been to do some videos together on the red carpet?
It would have been amazing.
It would have been
mate.
so good to do a Geek Week on location or something.
I
couldn't. It was they messaged me to go on like the Monday and it was on the Thursday. I'm like, dude, I can't organise it that quick. I'm up north.
No, it was all very hush hush as well about kind of where it was and when it was and stuff like that. But yeah, it's it's. I tell you what, John, it is a really, really good, really good film. Really good film.
Because I was worried about that movie with it being the first animated one as well. But obviously Transformers does render itself very well to animation. It did back in the 80s. So I mean, this is just an updated version of that, I'm guessing.
I was really worried. I'll be totally honest. Before, I was really pleased that I got the invite to the advanced screening, and I came away. I think this film is going to give us a whole new wave of Transformers fans.
That's cool.
I think this is going to open Transformers up to a whole new generation. It's just a very, very good film. And like I said, without giving anything away, it was just really good. Really, really good. Just quickly, before we do leave, Shelley said, yes, SuperSorrell, that moment gave me chills too. It did too. It gave me... I can't wait to talk about it. Right, we will do our Geek Week Plus episode. Maybe at the weekend. We'll work out which day works best for us, but we'll do it before next week's show.
Wait a whole new week. You're going to wait another week.
No, this weekend coming.
We're on Sunday.
Yeah. So we're going to do a Geek Week, aren't we? We said
Wednesday or something.
No, because I'm still in Wales.
Oh, of course you won't.
Yeah, I thought we said Saturday. But we'll definitely do it before next week's episode. So tune in and talk to us about that. That is pretty much all of it for us now. I'm still sat in my car.
Mate,
it's now pitch black. I'm going to put the camera on because look, it is literally pitch black. Like I can't see anything.
This has been the weirdest episode because obviously I've not had anyone to look at on my screen. So I've like been looking around all night like this. I'm like, I don't know where to look.
Hang on, let me see if I can actually put a light on. No, see that tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to open the door.
Are you not really warm? Because I'm in my house and I'm dying.
I'm in the car. It's really dark. But yes, let me just leave the light on for a second. Right, let's just round it off here because I'm here. I'm here, Sorrell. I'm here. Everyone that's been chatting along, thank you very much for tuning in. This has been a very interesting one. Thanks very much, Shelley. I will have a great week in Wales. Great week in Wales, JT. That's sticking. I'm liking that.
JT.
Yes, thank you very much for tuning in. We've done our best to try to keep the comments up on the screen, but obviously it's been a bit of a bizarre one because me and Sorrel do have holidays as well, and yeah, I just happen to be away on holiday. You're going off to Florida soon as well.
Yeah, it's 5 weeks today when we do this show. I'm literally going to be somewhere in the middle of like Orlando.
We're doing it the other way around. But yes, if you are watching us on repeat, Mr. Sorrel, what is it they need to put in the chat?
Hashtag catch up crew.
Hashtag catch up crew. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. We do appreciate you. Tune in to our Geek Week Plus. We are going to rip apart Deadpool and Wolverine, talk about all the theories, the spoilers, the cameos, everything. We'll be doing that show. Keep your eyes on our channels for when we're going to be doing that. Yeah, that's about it for this week, right?
Yeah.
Till next week, everyone. Keep it geek.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and of course subscribe. Tune in next week for another live show. Until then, keep it geek. www.geekweekinreview.co.uk